Hello again, and welcome back to Warrior Lion Media, where we build out sample funnels for you right in front of your eyes so you can go ahead and learn the process. And you also have the option of just go ahead down to the description and downloading the sample version that we're going to build out today. We previously did a yoga studio funnel that got a lot of great feedback, and we received a request to go ahead and do a real estate agent funnel. So that's what we're going to go ahead through today. The funnel that you see on the page today is the funnel that we're going to go ahead and build out. We'll walk you through the process, and again, we'll have a link in the description with a free download where you can grab the funnel that we build out, and you'll have straight into your account. So you can go ahead and start playing with it. You can either adjust what we have, or you can go ahead and use exactly what we've provided. So let's go ahead and get started with a sample account. I switched over. This is basically a blank starter template, as you can read on there. As soon as you click on the blank template, this is the screen you're going to get. So we're going to go ahead and start from scratch and build out that funnel for you. First thing that I like to do is get rid of everything so we can start with a clean slate. And once you have this, you're going to go up to settings, click on background, and then we're going to go ahead and download the sample background that we have. There you go, and you can get these backgrounds from a site called Pixabay. It's royalty-free, copyright-free images. You're allowed to use them on any websites, any promotions, both personal and business related. I would recommend going through a free site like that rather than going to Google Images, searching and just grabbing whatever image you like there, because a lot of times when you go to Google Images, they are copyright restricted, and if you use them, you could face some legal issues. I'm not a lawyer, so take that disclaimer into effect, but there are some people that I'm familiar with that have run into issues for using copywritten images, so you want to avoid that by using a site like Pixabay. All right, let's go ahead and get started now that we have that background image in there. We're going to start at the top here. There's several components I always like to keep included in my funnels is some sort of urgency, a really catchy headline that grabs people's attention, again, some more urgency around that, a call to action, a simple form that they enter either just their email address, or if you're doing a lot of testing, you can try their first name and email address, but I would always start out with the email address alone and start that way and then test it out. And if you want to try and test the first name in there, go for it, but you can always get the first name at a different time in your sales funnel. So let's go ahead and start with the top. As most of you are familiar with, ClickFunnels is the format that we're using here. When you're creating your page, they have three sections. They have the section, they have the row, and then they have the element. So we'll go ahead and get started by entering the top section here by clicking the green button section. We're going to use the small option. Once you have that in there, the next element that you're going to do, or the next section you're going to do, is add a row. And for this funnel, similar to the last one, we're just going to use a simple one column all the way down. Maybe the next time, if we have enough interest, we'll go ahead and do it, add some 2-column, 3-column elements in there. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and start with the single column. There we go, that's been added. So we're now going to add an element, which is the next item, and we're going to go ahead and do this in a headline, a subheadline. So you click on subheadline, and now you have your element. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and type in some text here. Just to simplify things, I'm just going to copy and paste from my funnel that I've already built out. This is the urgency element that we have going on here. 3 days left. You can do 3 days, you can do 10 copies, however you want to format it or however you want to word it. We're just going to go with a 3-day approach here. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go ahead and format this. A couple things we're going to do is we're going to go to the sections, which is the green option, and we're going to give it some space at the top there, just makes it look a little bit nicer. And then what we're going to do is change the background color to red so it pops. I'm just going to use a bright red background, And then we are also going to see how there's a lot of space on the top here and a lot of space on the bottom here. We don't want all that, so we'll go down in the bottom of this section and just reduce that to, say, 5 and 5. That kind of slims it down a little bit. And the last thing we're going to do in this section here is we'll go ahead and change this to white. We could do that here, or we could do it in the element. We'll just do it here since we're already here. And the last item is we want to, just to make this look a little nicer, we want to round the edges on the top here. So go over to Advanced, Corner Radius. We're going to go ahead and do 25 pixels. And you see how it rounded everything. We only want it to round at the top. So select Edges and Top Only. And there you go. All right, one other thing we want to do with this before we move on to the next section is go into, remember how I mentioned there's 3 different types. There is the green is the settings, the blue is the rows, and the orange is the actual element itself. So we want to go down to the element level and click on the settings. I want to increase the size just a little bit more. What we're also going to do is we're going to make this bold, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, but we want to make sure the bold color is also white so it shows out a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and bold this, and there you go, it pops a little bit better. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next section. This is where we're going to have the headline, and we're actually going to put the rest of the section here, the headline, the timer, the form, the call to action, the button, and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the green level, click on a new section. Similar to the first section, we're going to go ahead and click on small, and that pops this up, which is the format that we want. And you see how, remember when we only rounded the top of this top section here, and we kept the bottom squared? It just gives us a little bit of a better flow down to the next section by doing that. So now you want to create a row within this new section. Again, we're using the 1 column. And now that we have that there, we'll go ahead and add our header, our text that really pops out, that grabs people's attention. In this funnel, what we're doing is we are going to build out a lead magnet landing page, which allows visitors to exchange their email address for a guide that helps them sell their house faster and keeps it to better buyers. So in order to do that, our headline that we have in here, when we add the element, is going to be around that. It's going to be focused on getting their attention, letting them know that this guide that we're going to provide is great to find really good buyers fast and sell your house fast. Depending on what your lead magnet is or what you're offering, you could offer a foreclosure list, you could offer a overall housing list depending on or focused on your specific area. You could also offer some other sort of guide, but this is just an example that we're using for here. So I already have our headline. It's going to be proven ways to find good buyers fast and avoid spending weeks on the market. All right, so that grabs anyone's attention that's looking to sell their house fast to a good buyer. Now that we have this here, we want to emphasize a few things. We want good buyers fast, so we bold. Oh, sorry, I forgot it comes automatically. The headlines automatically are bold, so we want to make sure that it's not bold before we get started. And now we want to highlight the good buyers fast, so make that bold, and avoid spending weeks on the market. So also make that bold. All right, now that we have those highlighted, we can go ahead and adjust the size. To adjust the size, we go into the orange level, which is also the elemental level, and hit the settings. This allows us to increase the size. We'll go ahead and just do, we want to try and keep at least multiple words on a line. See, when I go here and do that, it just makes it a little empty. So we want to make it a little fuller of a section. So we'll go down to 40 for the size. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to change the bolded color to match the red from the top, so it stands out a lot more. So it's boom, pop in there a little bit. All right, the next section we're going to do is we're going to re-emphasize that this is a limited time offer, that this is not going to be around forever. So we're going to go ahead to the elemental level and add a new element. This is going to be a subheadline. And then we are going to remind them that this is a limited time offer. That's only available now, and if they miss it, they miss it, and you can't move forward. All right, once we're in here, we're going to go ahead and again highlight only available now and make that bold. And then you're going to go into the element level and make the bold ones red again, so it pops a little bit better. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put just a tiny bit more space here, move this up to 20. That gives you a little more space between the headline and this urgency item. Now that you have that there, we want to go ahead and add a timer. Again, grab their attention, emphasize the urgency, let them know that it's a free offer, which we'll do down in the call to action, and then just try and get them to sign up as quickly as possible. So add a new element. Then we're going to go down here on the right hand side to countdown 2.0. Select that, and that brings this up here, which is going to be a timer. And now you click on the settings for that timer, and we're going to do multiple things. We're going to go ahead and start off. You got to put an end date in there. So today is November 12th, 2020. So we want to do that 3 days from now. So it will be the 15th. I'm just going to do 10 a.m. And this is Eastern time. You have the option here to go ahead and redirect them to a new URL when this timer runs out, or you can hide certain functions. That is completely up to you. You can redirect them to another offer. All you have to do is keep on that and put in the URL for the other landing page that you want to send them to, or you can send them to your website. You can also have the option of hiding certain elements. So if you do this option, when the time runs out, you can go ahead and hide the form that we're going to create down here. That's completely up to you. I'm going to leave this blank for now. When you get this, or when you click the link in the description below and you download your version of this, you can edit it any way that you want. So now that we have the timer data in there, there's one more thing that I like to change. If you look at this here, if you want it subtle, you can. I like it to pop a little bit more, so I'm going to use the circle black. You click on themes and you go to circle black, and it automatically changes that for you. And now that you have that here, this is the header section. This gets their attention, gets them interested. So now you want them to be able to, you want to add the call to action and the form so they can submit their email address. What I sometimes like to do is add a little divider in there. So I'm going to scroll down, add a new element, go down to divider. That puts this here. I don't like it to always go across all the way, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 50% and then center it in the middle. And then one more thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to color it red so it matches the rest. So it adds that divider in there. And then the top margin I'm going to shrink a little bit just so it's not too crazy, not too big between them. Now that you have that there, we can go ahead and start working on the call to action and the form to submit your email address or their email address. So again, add a new element. We're going to do a sub headline. And the call to action that we're going to do is enter your email to claim your free guide. And just like before, what we will go ahead and do is bold free because we want to highlight that. Again, we want them to realize that this is free. They're not paying for it. The only thing they're really paying for is their email address. So we want to add that free in there. And now we're going to add the form itself. This is the email address form. So you add a new element, go down to the input option, click on that. It adds that there. And then we also want to add the button. So go ahead and click on button. And there you go. Now let's go ahead and edit our form. So the input button, the email address, when you put it on the form initially, it's defaulted to not set. So we have to go ahead and set it to, by clicking on the settings, set the input type to email address. And when you select email address, it automatically requires it. So they cannot click that button and move on to the next page unless they have their email address in here, a valid email address. All right, so now that we have that there, we want to set up the button. And you go ahead and click on the button settings. And the first thing that we want to do is set the action. And the action for this is going to be submit the order. This essentially, when they put in their email address, click that button, it sends their email address to your autoresponder, and that kicks off whatever autoresponder you set up for this one. So go ahead and select that. You also have the other option of sending them to another URL at this time. We're going to keep it simple. Submit the email address to your autoresponder, take them to the thank you page. All right. Now the next thing that we're going to do for this is we're going to go ahead and edit the text on this button. So what we're going to do is, you don't want to just keep it simple. You don't want to say click to sign up, because again, you want to catch their attention, draw their eyes down to the button so they remember to click on it. Sounds simple enough, but you'll be surprised how many people don't do this, and they lose a lot of conversion that way. So we're going to edit the text, and we want it to sound exciting to the person. Yes, give me my free guide. So we're going to go ahead and put that text in here, give me my free guide. And then we're also going to reiterate the urgency with the subtext on this button. 3 days left. Again, urgency, urgency, urgency. And what I wanted to do, just give it just a little extra space, make it look a little nicer. And the last thing we're going to do on this is change the color. The colors I like to use normally with a button is red or even a yellowish orange. Those seem to get the best results. A blue, a green, I haven't gotten great results. So we'll go ahead and change this to the red that matches everything else in here. So it pops a little bit more. Some optional items that you could go ahead and do is you can switch over to the advanced settings in the corners. Where is it? You can go ahead and style. You can play with a lot of these. Sometimes the corners, I like to round them off a little bit. It looks nicer to do that. You click on corners, go to 10 or 15. We'll go ahead and use, we'll go ahead and use 10 for this. It just makes it look a little nicer. So there's that. And once you're done with that, you can do other things. You can shadow it. You can put a border in there, a thicker border. Do a 10 to really look ugly, or you can just do a simple 1. And then you got box shadowing and so forth. So that's all stuff that you can play with once you get your own. I'm going to leave it at that. This is the basic setup of this funnel. It's pretty simple. As I mentioned, I'll say it again. Urgency right there at the top pops out. Then you have tell them what you're offering, a great guy that finds good buyers fast, or helps you find good buyers fast, and you'll spend less time in the market because you'll be that attractive, or your house you're selling will be that attractive. And then again, the scarcity limit time option, a timer, which I'll show you again here in a second. Once you save everything and you preview it, that timer will actually show the numbers according to the date that you sent in there. Then you get down to your call to action for them to enter their email address to receive the guide, and then the form and the button to send it to where you need to send it. There's one more element that you should add to every single landing page, and that is the footer. And in the footer, what you want is a link to your terms and conditions page and your privacy policy. A lot of times when you're running ads on Facebook or Google Ads or anything along those lines, they require this, so might as well just put it on there right there as the default, and I'll go ahead and add that section. What we're going to do is we're going to add a full new section to this, and then instead of using the small that we've been using for the rest of the landing page, we're going to go ahead and use the full width. And then within this, add a new row, single row column, and then add a new element, which we're going to use paragraph. And you'll see it's really hard to see in here, so we'll go ahead and highlight it. You can do bold if you want. I'm not gonna, but you want to change the text color in this example to white, so you want it to stand out a little bit. So it does stand out. You can tell it's there. It's probably not the easiest to read, but it's just an option there. And you'll see the default is kind of a gibberish. So we are going to grab the text I have in the sample one. So again, you highlight it and you paste it in there. It's kind of hard to see what you can do if you want to get it down a little bit closer to these trees, so it's a little darker to see. Go ahead and use the top margin, see how it's a little easier. Put whatever your site name is, all rights reserved, theoretically copywriting everything, and then the terms and conditions and privacy policies. To add a link to these sections, you go ahead and highlight them, and you click on this little link button here, and you go ahead and add whatever URL that you want in there that points to your terms and conditions. Two other suggestions I would add to this is clicking on this button so it turns white. That essentially means anytime someone clicks on your link, it'll open a new tab so that your landing page stays on the computer, but they can also view everything else in a separate tab. That by opening that new tab, again, it keeps your landing page there and allows users to come back to it easily, instead of if you just change this tab to your terms and conditions, there's a very slim chance that they're going to click the button back to come back to your landing page. And then the other item that you'd want to do is click the color, and that's this blue button by default. Click on that and just click on a white or any other color. Let's try, we'll go ahead and do that. And then you want to do the same thing with the privacy policy here, which I'll go through very quickly. Highlight it, click the blue, add your URL, click on make sure that's white, and then add your color in there. And that is not the color that I picked before. Let's do that. And let's try that color again. There we go. Do that. Not sure why. There we go. It's on there. Okay. And if you ever click off of it and you want to go back to that link, just click on the section here and you'll see this little blue button next to each of these. That's an edit button. That's where you know there's a link there that you can edit and update. And this is essentially the landing page that you'll get when you click the download button in the description. There's a few other options that I would recommend that you do in order to get this to work. Go up to settings, go ahead to the SEO Metadata, and what this does is the top section here, you see if you look all the way to the top of the screen here, see how it says my awesome landing page. What is better for you to do is type essentially what you want to do. You can either do your website name, or you can, for this I'm going to do selling your house fast guide. It's just a whole lot better descriptions, but this just gives you a good example. Go ahead and see as I'm typing, it's actually automatically updating it up there. The description here is for SEO. Essentially, if someone searched for your term and you're ranked in Google, this is the description that you'll show, so put something relevant to your landing page. Keywords, again, something relevant. Selling your house guide. These are essentially keywords that you want to try and rank. Author, put your name. Image can be anything from your company's logo to a specific image that relates to this landing page. But this is what will show up on social media. All right. What I'll do is I'm just going to put this example here and see how it shows up down here. This is the way it'll look on Google. And this is the way it'll look if someone puts it on Facebook as a shared link. So you do want to enter these items. Click on that, make sure you're saving often. And then the last thing that you want to do to make sure the setup is correct is go ahead and integrate it. Essentially what integrating it does is it connects it to whatever your autoresponder is that you have set up, whether you're using ActiveCampaign, Drip, or even the internal autoresponder within ClickFunnels. So to set that up, you go ahead and go to Settings, Integration. It'll bring up this screen. Then you go ahead and select from your integrations. You'll see I have a number of them in here. And then once you have that, it'll give you the option whether you want to add it to a list and the list that you want to add it to. So just make sure that before you go live with this funnel, make sure that you go ahead and integrate it to your autoresponder so you get those emails that get sent in. Your emails will automatically be saved within ClickFunnels, so you'll have a record there just in case you forgot to set that up, but I highly recommend that you set it up. All right, well that is it for the real estate agent landing page that we have here. This funnel will be listed in a link in the description below, so you have the option to go ahead and just grab it. It's already made for you, or you can go through the process that I just showed you to build it out. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button below and subscribe. That'd be awesome. Also, if you have any other requests for other niches or other industries, let me know. I'll be happy to go ahead and do those in the future. All right, thank you everyone and have a great rest of your day. All right, bye.